Please be seated.
Hello, Your Honor. This is a case of Carson, Shelmonson-Bey versus Marcellus.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Good day. Ms. Carson and Ms. Shelmonson-Bey, you are here on behalf of your deceased brother, Michael Carson, to prove he is not the biological father of the defendant's 2-year-old daughter, Mariah. You claim Ms. Marcellus was promiscuous and your brother doubted that he was the father. You're here to protect your family name. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Marcellus, you say the deceased Michael Carson was the love of your life, and his family's denial of your daughter, Mariah, is breaking your heart. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Carson, you say you're here to protect your family name.
Yes, I'm here to
tell the court why.
In 2016, my brother was murdered. We just celebrated 2 years of his death not even a week ago. Prior to that, he never claimed Mariah as being his child, and we feel that she's saying that so she can get his death benefits.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
Appreciate it.
So you believe this entire paternity issue is motivated by the fact that she wants death benefits for her child?
Correct.
So, Ms. Marcellus?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you here motivated by death benefits?
No, I am not. And I'm surprised that they would even think that I'm sitting up here trying to get this paternity test over some money. I don't need to have that money. My daughter is entitled to that money because that is her father.
And so, at this point, would you like to respond, Ms. Shelmonson-Bey?
Yes, that's false. Her only motivation is because of money. It's been about money. If it's not beneficial, she don't want anything to do with anything. That's what it is.
How am I gonna take care of kids without money anyway? I gotta get out here and work. I'd work.
They real daddy need to take care of him.
He was until he died. How about that? When I needed diapers for that baby, guess who was cutting the check? He was.
Okay.
So where was you at? Where was you at, though?
She wasn't even a month when he passed away.
Okay, and he was there. But when I had that baby and she popped out, who was at the hospital? Y'all wasn't.
Not him.
How was that?
We don't supposed to be there.
All right, let's get some order, ladies. Ladies, let's get some order. Let's get some order. So,
he's not here to answer that
Ms.
question.
Marcellus, talk to me about, hold on. Ms. Marcellus, I want you to talk to the court about the nature of your relationship with the deceased Michael Carson.
I had met him at a convenience store that was right around the corner of my house and everything. He approached me when I was walking out of the store. So it just ended up escalating then. So we've been off and on for 5 years.
At some points in time, were you committed or was this always?
I was always committed. He did a lot of stepping out.
But you were committed in the relationship.
Yes, I was.
That is your testimony.
Yes, I was.
And so to the sisters, Ms. Carson, Ms. Shelmonson-Bey, your doubt is because Mariah, you say he did not accept.
Correct. He wasn't even in town around the time she got pregnant, so he moved out of town
because he was late about an hour or so. He just had a birthday party.
Okay.
That's
so
when
Ms.
I could see Mariah in October 2015.
And he told me, when you said you was pregnant, and I asked, by who? You said your brother. Got off the phone with you, called my brother. I said, Mikey, Ashley says she pregnant by you. He bust out laughing. He was really goofy. I said, this is a serious matter. Is this your baby? He said, no, that's not my baby. That's all I needed to hear.
And so, Ms. Marcellus, as you can see, their brother said to them, there's no way I can be the child's father. So tell the court, what happened when you found out you were pregnant and what was going on in your relationship during that time?
At the time when I ended up getting pregnant with Mariah, me and Mr. Carson was separated. He was in another relationship 2 hours away in another city. He had came back to the city. He had his little birthday party and everything like that. I was doing my own thing, I'm not gonna lie. You know, I had a friend that I was dealing with in September before I had started back.
Another possibility?
So you had you were having sex with someone else?
Yep, in September. And when I had slept with Mr. Carson, it was right after his birthday. I found out I was pregnant in November, and I told him that I was pregnant. It wasn't no secret.
Was he happy about the baby?
He was Michael, you know, and he was like, okay, cool. That was it. You know,
so
wasn't nothing to talk about.
You was laid up with different dudes.
While I was pregnant, I was laying up with different dudes.
Girl,
what other
you always
pregnant? Girl, I sure am, and I know exactly which father is who.
We gonna see today.
So, yeah, we sure will, and then I want to see what you're talking.
You done had little get-togethers.
Okay, and that's my problem. What they got to do with you?
It don't got nothing. What got to do with me?
That's your life.
My brother and his kids you're claiming is his.
But I don't care because after I told him I was about to have Mariah and then I was pregnant with Mariah, me and Michael was planning to get married.
But he was already married. married.
No, he was not at the time. He got married. First of all, Michael got married March 11th of 2016.
Because you was there. Because you was there.
No, I was not there. No, he was not married at the time that me and him were about to get married. No, November, when I told you that
How did you find out he was married?
Facebook.
How?
I seen pictures of him and the girl at a courthouse like we're standing in, and they were exchanging vows and everything.
And I can see
That's
that
how
hurts.
Hell yeah, that hurts. How you think I'm supposed to feel? This person I done put all my time and invested in, that done promised me things regardless to what they're saying. Go marry the next person? I heard
You
like
were
hell.
pregnant?
Yes. Can you go have your own kids so you can quit worrying
you
about what I
raise
got
your
going on?
kids?
I'm taking care of mine.
I'm taking care of
I
Listen,
take care of mine.
listen.
But however,
Be
let's
quiet.
you call it.
So did you didn't think he
Ladies.
ever had no doubt? I told you.
Ladies,
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm trying to stay respectful and kind.
Yes, ma'am.
I apologize, Your
Well,
Honor.
we have got to let one person speak at a time so I can understand.
Agreed. Agreed.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. I'd like to go to the plaintiff's witness. Miss, will you please stand up? Thank you, and state your name for the court.
I'm Geraldine Carson.
Miss Carson, you are Miss Carson and Miss Shelmonson's mother and also the deceased Michael Carson's mother. Is that correct?
Yes, I am.
All right. Ma'am, we are here, of course, discussing a very sensitive situation regarding baby Mariah. And I know I'm so sorry for your loss. I really am. And I know this is very difficult, but this is important that we understand whether or not this baby would be the last living legacy of your son. Okay?
Yes.
So do you believe Mariah Carson is your son's biological daughter?
No, I do not.
And can you tell the court why?
I had to have a conversation with him and asked him, point blank, is this your baby? And he said no. So we know he's not here and to correct or however you want to fix it. But Mikey was always a jokester. You know, he's the youngest of 7 children, and that's our baby, and that's the way he was to us. He was always joking and playing around.
And so when you say Mikey was a jokester, do you think when he was speaking to you, he was just kind of like, no, Ma, and just kind of joking because he didn't want to deal with the conversation right now? Or do you believe your son was really telling you what he felt?
I believe he was telling me what he felt, but how can I really tell? I don't know at this point because he's gone now. And I love the babies, but I need to know if they are his children. So I'll be able to really be a good grandmother and love on them for his sake, to his children.
Yeah, because it's his legacy. We have to make that still live on if they're his. But it's 3 no's to 1 yes.
And regardless of how Ashley feel about us or our family or whatever, I'm a good auntie to my nieces and my nephews, and ain't nobody gonna be able to tell them about their daddy Buzz.
That's real.
She knew what she knew about him, but we've been rocking with him since he was born. And I love my brother. And I'm gonna make sure that his people was okay. I made sure he was okay when he was alive. And I'm for damn sure gonna make sure his kids okay while he gone. Period.
That's why
we just want answers.
They think I just want money. I want my babies to have a family.
And they deserve it.
They need to know who
They
their
need
people
to know.
are.
I don't see the
can't tell
resentment.
that baby who her father is more than they can.
Ms. Marcellus, did Michael ever express to you, I know this is difficult, did he ever express to you that he didn't believe he was Mariah's biological father?
Yeah, he did come to me about, am I sure if Mariah's his? He had told me that his sister Maya had told him about the neighbor that I was dealing with where I lived at.
And was
I told him.
this after she was born or before?
No, this was before she was
Before she was born?
Yeah.
So, Ms. Carson, how did you find out about the neighbor?
He was spending the night watching our kids. He had his own
He
little.
never watched my kids.
Girl,
My
he
brother
was
told
watching
me
your
a
kids and
story.
he was playing the game.
He had-
He had his own emoji on
kids.
my
So
brother
clear
video
that.
game at your house. So how he wasn't watching your kids in your home?
So
He was
what?
the-
It's
Girl,
a
he
video
was,
game.
you know how many times I
Maya,
walked in your house and you was
calm
not there
down.
and the kids were there?
Girl, no, because I was next door.
So he was watching your
And
kids, correct?
Girl, bye,
Your
please.
Honor, on the video game, you can make your profile of who's playing, log in under the Wi-Fi and everything. The guy she was dealing with was so comfortable that when my brother went over there and was about to play the game, he had a whole profile of himself in the video game. This not nothing I heard from Ashley. He called and told me, like, she got this dude up in the house to where he comfortable enough to be on my video game that I bought, and he done made him his own little profile.
So
with the
wait, was
game.
this during the window of conception all this was going on?
Before she was conceived.
So it was before she was conceived.
Yes.
But you
No,
stated that
but-
you was loyal. I was always committed.
Okay, but this is what I
How?
told your brother. Like I told your brother, you up here 2 hours laid up with the next person. I can't go on and live my
You
life.
can, but
'Cause
be
I told
honest
him,
about it. That's
like
your
I
hot
said, when I
pocket.
was
You can
talking
give
to
it
him,
to
when
whoever
me
you
and
want.
him talk,
But let's be clear about
when me and him
these
talk,
kids.
because he still was like my best friend. We talked about everything, regardless when we beefed out or whatever. We end up talking about the situation. You know what I'm saying? He found out when she told him about it, what I got to lie for. Yes, I slept with that dude.
But are you saying right now you were in fact sleeping with him? You all were having sex. Was it protected sex?
Yes, I did protect myself with him. Oh, you must have been laying there in the bed with me.
Girl, you
honey.
always.
Well, look, what we
that's
do
what I'm
know,
saying, like,
what we do
everything
know,
is
there is
wrong.
no
What is it?
protection that is 100%
Cause you pregnant
foolproof.
right now, but you saying my brother was the love of your life, and you pregnant right now with another man's baby.
And so what? It's 2 years later. I can't live on with my life. I can't go
but
on.
you crying,
I can't
though. It
go
hurts
on.
so
I
much,
can't-
though.
I don't give
Right.
a damn who I'm with. I
Girl.
still love that man to this day.
And you
that's
look a
never
fool.
Gonna, it's not.
You
It's
look
not
a
gonna stop.
fool.
It's not gonna stop because I'm gonna forever love him.
And
regardless.
keep going, keep pushing, baby.
I
And
think
until
I'm not.
then, we need to
Think
know
I'm
if
not.
that's
So why are
his
you still
daughter.
talking to me?
So wait a
Girl,
minute. So this is what I
Girl.
listen. This is what I'm seeing. And I truly understand now where the doubt lies, because you've admitted, Ms. Marcellus, that because her brother had moved on and had gotten married and was with someone else, you decided to move on as well. So, Ms. Carson, does that even further your doubt?
That means, yes, it does, because he had some doubt.
But even in this, when we were inboxing right here, he was like, "We have a baby, chill."
I'd like to see that, ma'am. Jerome, can you hand that to me, please?
Yes.
Thank you. What is this piece of evidence?
This
A
is
text exchange between you
Yep,
and Mr. Carson.
that is correct.
It was August 15th, 2016. You said, "I just really need a job, for real?"
Yep.
And Mr. Carson responded, "We got a newborn, chill. It get greater later." And you responded, "I wish sooner." And that text made you believe that he accepted Mariah as his own.
He accepted our baby, even after I came home with her from the hospital right before he had left out of town again. You know, he was interacting with my baby. He was holding my baby. He was feeding my baby. He changed my baby. You know, and those are characteristics of somebody that's not doubting a child.
May I say something, Your Honor?
Yes, you may.
One thing I want to say about my son, Michael. He's a good father, and he's a loving man. If he loves her, he's going to take care of that baby, whether he believes it's his or not. And I don't think
as he is.
I don't think they even look alike. But that's the type of man he is. He's real loving. You know, both of my sons are, because that's the way their dad is.
When you look at Mariah, you don't feel like she is your son's baby?
I don't feel like she is, but I love her. And I want to know definitely whether she is or whether she's not. So I'll have a peace of mind and I have closure concerning my son and his children.
Yes.
And that's what we have for you.
Okay.
The answer that will hopefully give you peace of mind and the closure you so desperately need. Jerome? Thank you. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. Because there wasn't a blood card available to test the DNA of the deceased, Michael Carson, we performed a DNA test with his surviving parents, Geraldine and Mitchell Carson. In the case of Carson, Shelmonson-Bey versus Marcellus, when it comes to 2-year-old Mariah Carson, it has been determined by this court the percentage of relatedness between Geraldine and Mitchell Carson and 2-year-old Mariah Carson is 99.99%. You are related. You are related.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Your Honor.
That is your niece, that is your grandbaby, and that is Michael's last living legacy.
Ashley, I still love you, but we just needed to know.
I understand.
We have no
It still
problem.
hurt.
I know it hurt, but this was a process that we had to go through to find out because he's not here to tell us.
I'm not
He
mad.
should be here taking the
I'm
time,
not mad.
but we gonna make sure she good.
At least we got closure on one thing.
Yeah, that's what we
Out of
did.
anything.
Can I hug her?
Of course.
Can I hug you, Ashley? I love you, baby. I just needed to know. You okay? Okay. You know we got her. You know we got her, right?
Yes, ma'am.
We're gonna let her know that he loved her. We'll
Good.
make sure that she knows that. She's loved.
That is all we can do when we unfortunately have to part from loved ones far too soon.
Yes.
We have to step in and fill the gap and love their children and their mothers
Yeah.
the way they would have wanted us to. I couldn't be happier that you all will have one another. And Miss Marcellus, I know this will be hard for you to raise your children and they don't have their father, but rely on his family to help them move through this life, okay? I wish you the best. Court is adjourned.